Okay, let's give it one more minute. Okay, cool. So let's start. Thanks everyone for joining. I'm Andrew. I run innovation at Flowcode. Evan and Sam, do you want to quickly introduce yourself? Then I'll kick off the Flowcode slides.
Yeah, hey, my name is Evan Greenberg, and I work on the enterprise solutions team here over at POAP, and we're excited to talk to you a little bit about POAP and Web3 today.
Yep, and thank you, Andrew. I'm Sam Coffey. I lead project management at POAP.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. All right, let's kick it off. So just a little refresher on Flowcode. We are the upgraded QR code solution. We create these highly designed codes and awesome automagical experiences from a scan. Currently, we work with 70% of the Fortune 500. We have over 3 million creators, almost 400 million connections, and in over 120 countries. Our product suite is fairly simple. We have the upgraded QR code we call Flowcode. It is fully customizable with the privacy smile along the bottom of the code. The code can come in an array of designs. We can actually change the data pattern to a star, a lightning bolt, any type of object you'd like. The flow page is a mobile optimized landing page. It takes under a minute to create. This is the ideal post-scan destination for a flow code. You can see BMW uses it on out-of-home, TV ads, and actually on car stickers. And so the flow page is the perfect counterpart to a flow code, and that's sort of the funnel that we're looking at today. On the data and analytics side, you'll get live data and analysis as you'd like. So if you're running a TV campaign or you're doing an NFT drop, you can see where the audience scanned from. You can see what type of phone, your top performing links, scan times, etc. I'll also mention on the code side, this code can have a smart link, which allows you to change the destination of the code automatically. The best example is if a restaurant is using Flowcode, they can use the same code to distribute the breakfast menu, lunch, and dinner menu without changing anything. So the links behind the code are actually 100% dynamic and changeable there. I'm going to jump right into the Web3 portion and then kick it to POAP. But the first, interesting thing that you can do with the flow code is start AR experiences. So I'll just show you one here. This pipes to a .usdz file, and you can see the consumer can play with AR in real life. And so flow codes are fully operational for any type of AR file. And we've seen clients use it for a variety of things, but I'll just play it once more. Without any app, you can pipe into an AR experience. Now I will jump into the Web3 portion. Flowcode as a QR code acts as an on and off ramp to Web3. And this would be simply introducing the consumer to a Web3 experience like AR or an NFT claim. More specifically, if you're going to distribute a token or you're going to distribute a Web3 asset, you can use a Flowcode to do it across the mediums that we've been doing for the past 4 years. So television, experiential, out of home, print packaging, these all work for distributing Web3 assets, tokens, AR assets, and different types of unique experiences. On the other end, if you are trying to create a campaign as a business using tokens or digital assets, a Flowcode can help you enable your consumers to validate that ownership, leaning on partners like POAP. Now I'll jump into some case studies with the POAP squad. This was a concert at Red Rocks. It was a sold out stadium, and what we were able to isolate is that 90% of the audience was new to crypto. So the artist went on the stage, said, scan this flow code to claim this exclusive NFT. Upon the scan, you would distribute a POAP. The consumer would put in an email or a wallet, depending on what they want, and claim that NFT. So this exchange proved to be valuable and exciting. Almost 30%, almost 40% of the audience scanned in a sold out Red Rocks, which is about 9,000 people. And this is just one of the few many examples that we have with POAP, where the conversion rate and scan interaction is significantly higher than a normal distribution event. The opposite end, an artist could say, put your email in for a discount on merch or discount on drinks, but actually offering a POAP in exchange for your email or that moment has proven to be more valuable for consumers over time. And so without further ado, I'll kick it over to you, Evan. I'll just tap on one more, actually. We did a great activation with Gary Vee at Cannes, and he used a POAP pipe through this flow code you can see on the stage on the top right photo. He sat with Paris Hilton, again, called out to the audience, scan this flow code to claim the POAP, and most of the audience did scan. So that's sort of the flow code side. I'll kick it over to Evan to cover the POAP side.
Great. Thank you, Andrew. I'm going to share my screen here as well. All right, I might go into slideshow mode here. Okay, great. So thank you, Andrew, for having us today. And, thank you for all the attendees out there in the audience. We sort of have a two-part presentation here to, if you're not too familiar with Web3, some of the stuff Andrew just was talking about may be a little new to you. So we have a little bit more on what is Web3, followed by sort of how POAP fits into that whole ecosystem. So some people ask us, what is Web3? Was there a Web 2? Was there a Web 1? And the answer is yes, there was. In Web 1, in the early internet, it was more of the information economy, where people were posting information and others were consuming it, but there was very little interactivity. In Web 2, that we've seen most recently, that was more of the platform economy, where maybe you made user-generated content for a social media platform, or participated in the gig economy with a company like Uber or Airbnb. But most of the value accrued to the company, not to the people who were actually, creating the content and doing the work. In Web3, brands can have the same or greater engagement without being beholden to the platforms and the algorithms, while consumers can have more of an ownership stake. This leads to a much tighter feedback loop between brands and audience feedback, allowing brands to stay flexible and create the products that the buyers are actually asking for, rather than investing a large amount of resources and only receiving feedback when products are launched. What this flexibility unlocks is the ability to surprise and delight by assigning rewards to people holding your digital collectibles. The technology allows for these rewards to be assigned at any time after they are collected, based on the changing landscape and the needs for your brand. To summarize, Web3 is quickly delivering on the promises that the industry has imagined. Brands can cultivate attention without having to worry about platforms changing the rules. Brands can see what other collectibles live in their customers' transparent wallets to understand actual interests, not just broad demographics. And user interfaces are getting easier and easier for fans to use. And sure, you could start by building an entire metaverse or invest all of your marketing resources into a full-scale digital collectible campaign. But this is not a space that necessarily rewards a go big or go home attitude. You might actually get told to go home a lot of the time. However, POAP can be the foundation for your Web3 strategy, decreasing a lot of the friction to Web3 adoption. So when we were putting this presentation together, the team was talking, and a lot of us were actually talking about how our fathers and mothers actually collected a lot of the ticket stubs of the events that they had been to in the past. Now, there's still a lot of collecting going on, especially with the younger generations, but they're not really looking for physical ticket stubs or physical items to collect. But digital items, they're much more attuned to. POAP helps organizations bootstrap their Web3 brand strategy by minting precious digital collectibles in celebration of meaningful brand moments. So we like to say that POAP is the easiest way to onboard fans into Web3, and there are a couple of reasons for that. Number one, POAPs can be totally free for collectors. There's also the opportunity to put a fee on there, but most of the time POAPs are free. Next, POAPs can be claimed by scanning a QR code or NFC device, and especially a Flowcode. On top of that, collectors can reserve POAPs with their email address, and they can set up their crypto wallet later for actual adding it to the blockchain. If you're at an event, you're out at a party, you don't have a wallet necessarily, you're not going to take the time to set it all up right then and there. But by having the ability to just put in your email address and claim that NFT forever, you may want to then go, interact with it later in the future. So POAP allows that to happen. We talked, Andrew showed a lot of the stats about, the brand engagement side of it. And, the stats we have on the right side are similar to sort of what he showed because they came from, those similar events. But also know that people love collecting the POAPs. We've had over 6 million POAPs collected all time for over 1 million unique wallets. So 1 million unique people, basically. These are some of the brands that we've worked with. Some of the biggest brands in the world, and we'd be happy to go into more detail on any one of these brands to sort of let you know what they did and how we've worked with them. And here are some of the campaigns we loved. We already mentioned the Kevin Gates one, but we also did something similar with the WNBA, where these organizations used large-scale QR codes on screens at their events because they didn't really know much about who was attending. The ticketing companies like Ticketmaster, Live Nation actually own the fan relationship. So these organizations use POAPs to collect email addresses and learn who was actually there. Christian Louboutin did something very similar with QR codes for a Fashion Week event, but they also gave out POAPs to those who are watching the event on a live stream, bridging the gap between those who are in person and for those who are there virtually. And then just for all you guys here on the webinar right now, feel free to scan this QR code and you can actually collect a POAP right now in real time. It might be your first POAP, might be your first NFT, but you'll be able to see sort of how it works and how the technology works, especially with the Flowcode QR codes. So yeah, thank you for joining us all today. And I think you can add any questions into the Q&A button at the bottom, and we'd be happy to answer them. And I'm in full screen, so if AD or Sam could, see if any questions are coming in, that would be great.
I don't see anything yet, but feel free, anyone, to ask some questions, any Q&A. We'll give it another few minutes. Jason, I think you raised your hand. Okay. how many claimed tokens at that Red Rocks event? I think that's something we can follow up with, but Sam, I believe it was around 500 because remember he was doing the 411 event.
Yeah, that's right. I think it was just around 600 emails collected or people that engaged from the audience out of that event. He had a specific number that he was targeting. It was somewhere in the 600 to 700 range. I can't remember exactly what it was. We did distribute every single one of the digital collectibles that we had available, all of the POAPs during that concert. And then I want to say another 100 or so people actually followed through and minted them to the blockchain. And those other 500 or 600 people that have their POAP, they have them reserved in an email and they can mint them to the blockchain whenever they like. That one was really successful. The artist had a specific number they were going for and they achieved it.
Yeah, to build on that, it's good to note that when you create a POAP drop in our system, you don't make an unlimited number. You sort of pick a number of, okay, here, based on how many people that we think are going to, how many people we think are going to attend and how many people we think are going to claim, you pick a number that you want in your collection. Now, if you undershoot it and more people are claiming it, then you can definitely add to that collection in real time. But it's not as though you would say, oh, I'm just going to have unlimited ones of these. You may pick, you know, oh, let's start with 600 or let's start with 50 or, you know, try to make them, you know, something that people actually have to want to take action and go and get.
Good point. Cecil, will this be recorded so I can view later? We will create some sort of tighter version of this that will be a little bit shorter, but should contain all the important points. But if you have any questions now on what you saw, feel free to ask. What has been the biggest success the POAP team has been a part of so far? Would be the next question.
That's a tough one. We've done over 100,000 different POAP drops now. They range from small intimate gatherings like people's birthdays or anniversaries or weddings, all the way up to huge gatherings where, you know, we put a QR code on a screen at a professional sporting event and people collect the digital collectible that they can use to remember that they were there. It really is hard to just pick one since the breadth of them are so different. So, I mean, you can scroll back through the slides or the presentation to see some of the cool brands we've worked with, and I can't choose just one favorite. There have been so many.
Awesome. Jason, you asked, will this call be available later to review? I've missed the first 2 minutes. Yes, this call we'll sort of wrap it up in like a highlight video and share it. But if you have any questions now, Jason, feel free to ask away while we're here. We're happy to, you know, show slides that you missed or any areas that you might want to hear more about. Cecil, what is the cost of a POAP? Sam, you can kind of cover your end, but just from the Flowcode side, if we're going to do like a joint solution drop, like the Red Rocks example, you can reach out to me at andrew@flowcode.com, or you can reach out via our site and you'll get redirected to me as well, whatever is easiest. And I can take you through what a campaign looks like.
Yeah, I think that's a good answer. We are working out more standardized pricing right now and expect to be going live with public information about that around the middle of next month. In the meantime, people can also reach out to me at sam@poap.io to learn more if they like, or going through Andrew and Flowcode is totally good as well.
And for on the POAP side as well, we really only charge for commercial use. So if you want to just test out the technology, you know, at your next birthday party or, you know, a small gathering, that would be totally free to just, you know, create something small for you and your friends, just to sort of learn more about how it all works.
Yep. And then Jason asks, I'm working on a business concept with the idea to introduce a younger generation to NFT trading cards. POAP sounds like we could just drop this off at a business location and their clients can begin their journey easily. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And a cool use case. Evan or Sam?
Yeah, when it comes to that type of thing, you do still want to put it around like a moment or an event. Maybe it's like a special day at that business or something like that. It's less so that you would just have it unlimited and open sort of forever. But if you wanted to create sort of like an event around this concept or a series of events, then that's the perfect use for POAP.
I'll just agree with Jason. A lot of people and brands use POAP to onboard into Web3 because it's so easy to deploy something quickly. You don't need to do development. You don't need to go hire an engineering team. Really, it's just a matter of trying to identify the good opportunity for a memorable moment that you want to celebrate, and then putting a few implementation details together. It's pretty battle tested, so we know that it works well in small and large venues. So we'd love to work with you on your concept.
Yeah, and that's poap.xyz to check out the website.
Jason said, great, thank you. So thanks, Sam and Evan, for those answers. And then Cecil said, we have a school gala next week. Can I use a POAP for the event?
Yeah, that
Sure.
would be a great place to, try out a free drop, create it. You just need some artwork. So each POAP is an individual, everyone gets the same artwork who claims it, but you do have to create a unique piece of artwork. And yeah, a school gala is a great place to distribute. We have some solutions that allow it to make it easy for people to claim it. If you have an internet connected screen on a QR code, is one of our top distribution methods for something like that, and we'd be happy to follow up with you on that. And I'm sure Andrew will distribute everyone's information after the call.
Thanks, Evan. Yep. And Jason, my contact to have a further discussion about our use case. I just put my email in below. So happy to chat. Looking forward to it. I wanted to allow another couple minutes before we close up and run out of time here for some questions. So if anyone else has any questions, feel free to ask while we're still on. And a reminder to scan the Flowcode on screen if you have not yet already to claim the POAP. So Jason and Cecil, you guys should definitely hit that. Has the POAP team ever distributed by television?
So we've been in a number of conversations about distributing via television. The technology definitely works, and especially, that would be something we would definitely partner with Flowcode on, who has distributed a number of different things via television. I don't know if I can watch a sporting event or any type of live thing these days without seeing a Flowcode there. So yeah, that's definitely something that Flowcode and POAP together can make happen.
Yep, I'll just second what Evan said. We can absolutely do distribution off TV, and it'd be a fun test. Jason asks, can you direct the POAP through a different blockchain like Polygon instead of Ethereum?
The answer to that is today, no. All of the POAPs that get minted are minted to either the Gnosis chain or directly to mainnet.
Thanks, Sam.
I will say that for people that are looking, one thing that we didn't really dive into deeply, Jason, I'll mention this because you seem interested, is we do have a whole developer ecosystem, and there have been over 200 applications that are created on top of the POAP developer ecosystem. We have an open API, so people can use that to explore collections of collectors, to mint POAP to wallets or reserve to email addresses, or do pretty much anything that you can do in the POAP ecosystem via connection via API. It's very extensible, and we get a lot of good feedback about how easy it is to use and integrate. So usually when people are asking about different chains, I like to bring that up just to remind people that it doesn't really make a huge impact usually for our organizations that we integrate with which chain they're on, because they just hit our API in order to show collections and do other things within the POAP ecosystem.
Awesome. So we have 2 more minutes. Any other questions you guys want to pop in? Feel free to ask. All right. We got a school gala email. Thank you, Cecil. I will save that just in case. Jason said, thank you for explaining, Sam. Thank you, Jason, for attending. So if there's no further questions, we'll wrap up. I want to thank Evan and Sam. Thank you guys, POAP team, so much for joining and presenting. It was awesome work. And everyone who joined, if you have further questions about the joint solution, feel free to email me. I put it down below, but it's andrew@flowcode.com, or you can email sales@flowcode.com or hit the contact us button on our page. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.